Hi everyone, and welcome to the official Secret to Life Coaching Studio. I'm so excited today to have the opportunity to talk with you about storytelling, the art of storytelling. First off, I want to say congratulations to all of you watching this video. I'm so excited, as I know you are, to be a part of the DVD and honestly to be even receiving this training. I've been so fortunate to have the most incredible training on the face of the planet, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys today at the company. So let's actually get started. Today, as I said, is going to be the art of storytelling. We're actually going to go over tips and techniques that need to be implemented in your story to have your story be extremely effective and get powerful results. So let's get started. I want all of you out there right now, if you haven't had the opportunity, write down your story. How has the Secret to Life coaching affected your life? What are your direct results? Write it down for me now. And now here's what I would like for you to do next is actually make sure that when you read this story out loud, this is going to be the first technique that you're going to need, is that story is 2 to 2.5 minutes or even slightly less is okay, as long as all the bases are covered. So right now, like I said, I just want you to take the time, get your story written down, read it out loud to yourself 2 or 3 times, and make sure that it's within that 2 to 2.5 minutes. And we're back. All right, so for that last part again, right now, don't overthink it. I just want you to know which story you're going to tell, have your bases covered, because we are, again, going to be getting into more tips and techniques and things that you're going to want to have included. So now I want you to do another exercise. I want you to actually think of one of your clients. If you don't have clients yet, think of a family member or friend who's had a direct result from your coaching and what you've given them, an extreme life change, again, their story. So now I want you to take the time to write down their story and have this as well be kind of within that time frame as you go through it. It's okay too if the story is a little bit less than 2 minutes, but we do want to keep it there. Really, the most important thing is that it is not any longer than 2.5 minutes. And this is another point as well. If you've experienced actually quite a few benefits, you can break your stories up. Does that make sense? So take the time to kind of know, well, my story's really long and it takes me an hour to tell. That's not going to work, it's not going to be effective, and it's not going to get you the results that you want. So that's why we're here today. Think of now, again, a client, a family member, a friend, or someone who's experienced a benefit from the company, and write down their story now, as well as share it to yourself or with someone if you would like, and make sure it's within that 2.5 minute time. All right, so now what I want you to do is actually also write out a list. I want 10 benefits of the Secret to Life coaching. So those are also results as we talked about in the company. What can the Secret to Life coaching do for you? You can use the examples you already have. Has it eliminated fear in your life? Does it help you increase your confidence? Have you lost weight? Have you achieved business goals? Those are all direct results and benefits of the company. Again, we have a lot more. I would also like if you guys have later on to collaborate on what the benefits are, because the bigger this list, the more amazing your stories are going to be, and again, the better results that we are going to get. So take the time to do that now. Right now, I just want you to have, maybe if you do 5 or 10, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, fabulous. So this actually brings me to the second technique. The first being that your video and your testimonial, your story, whatever it is, needs to be within that 2 to 2.5 minute time frame, no more. Second is the benefits. As my mentor would say, facts tell and stories sell. You need everyone who's listening, whether this is your family member, all of those who are going to be on TV watching you, they want to know what's in it for them. So that exercise that you did is very, very important. Again, keep that list going. Have all of the possible benefits that this company has, and we know that there's hundreds. So make sure now within your story that you wrote your story and one of your clients or family members, what is the benefit? And I want you to identify that now. Was it that they released their fear of heights? Was it that they were able to forgive someone and that enabled them to move on with their life? Was it they were able to get out of a bad relationship? Or was it they were able to make more money? The key ones, as we know, make more money, have better relationships, have better health, We want to think about what is actually going to apply to the largest amount of people. But again, the smaller detailed ones are great too. So make sure at this moment that your story included some features, benefits, the results that that person's actually can expect to get. All right, so now that we're aware that your story has benefits, what we want to do is now add details into your story. A lot of you have probably heard someone sharing a story, they're like, well, I don't remember where I was, but it doesn't matter, I was somewhere and I talked to this guy and I don't remember his name. That's way too general. So let's just make up an example right now. So I was headed on my way to San Diego and I remember that my flight was actually delayed. So that right there, that part of the story is irrelevant. That's not their end result, that's nothing like that. But this technique is so important because that little detail, even though it's irrelevant to the end result, actually makes the story more real. So if you're sharing your story, where were you? Were you flying? I added in the story that my flight was delayed. I mean, all of this actually adds more validity. Always use the person's name. Don't say this guy or that girl, someone I met, it's their name. This makes the story more real and more true to the person who's listening in. All right, so now that you know that you need to have the details, I want you to actually think about how the story makes you feel. Did it evoke any kind of emotion? I know I'm so thankful, and Jim, I'll give you a shout out there because one of the stories I will be using on television and radio and when I get interviewed is a story from Jim, who was working with a friend of his. Now these are the details as well we're putting in. I'm going to have the gentleman's name. I'm going to have where he was from even, to throw something like that in there. And I just happen to know that the direct result is he was actually able to eliminate his fear of heights. They were at a hotel. The gentleman could not walk out onto the balcony overlooking San Diego, the beautiful ocean, could not walk out on the balcony to enjoy the beautiful view because of his fear. And thanks to our subconscious release technique, Jim was actually able to clear him of that fear. The wife was crying. They were so happy. This is something that he's, battled with his whole life. So thinking about the emotion, I mean, even as I'm just kind of going across the board with it, think about how the family felt. You're picturing the wife crying, the children so excited, oh my goodness, Dad, you can go outside and actually enjoy things you were never able to enjoy before because he released that fear of heights. So think about this in your story. What emotion does it evoke? It doesn't have to be anyone specific. Any emotion is good. Could be humor, laughter, could be tears, it could be sadness. You want these to evoke some kind of emotion, all right? So now I want to start back at the top. I want you to go through again, make sure, technique number 1, that your video is no longer than 2.5 minutes. Number 2, you want to make sure that you have the benefits in there. So that story that he was actually able to release his fear of heights is a benefit. And we can be even, letting everybody know in your story, it doesn't just have to be heights, it's your fear of anything. So that's the benefit. Then you want to make sure you have details. They were in San Diego. They were on a balcony overlooking the ocean. So have some kind of detail. Add the person's name to add validity to the story. And then make sure that you evoke emotion. So the last thing I want you to do, you're practicing these stories over and over, is name your story. This is super simple. This is actually going to help you guys when you're being interviewed, when you're doing the shows. Just name it. So the foot story, the ocean story, the classroom story, whatever triggers it in your mind, it's super quick and simple, but that you have each of these stories rehearsed very well and they have their own name. So again, I'm super excited to see these videos, you guys. I cannot tell you what an honor and privilege it is to be speaking with you now, and as you know, to be the part of such an amazing, amazing company. I'll see you guys soon.